What is going on, guys? It is Mark here from Let's Talk Balls, and welcome to the very first installment of The Greatest Ever. Now, since we can't get into the studio to actually record a podcast, and we don't have all the equipment that we would need to record said podcast, we're going to be giving you videos sort of like these with a bunch of different topics. You can let us know down in the comments below, or head over to our Instagram or our Twitter or our Facebook page. All that stuff will be at the end of the video, and it'll be linked down in the description below. You let us know what you would like us to sort of debate about. But for this first one, me and Dylan, if he ends up making a video, he is under the weather a little bit, so I'm not exactly sure if he will be making one. But we will be debating on who is the greatest basketball player of all time. Now, personally, if you ask me, it's hard to judge one player over the course of 60 plus years of the NBA because times were just so different. But for the fun of it, we're going to each pick who we think is the greatest basketball player of all time. Now, first off, I would like to start off with some honorable mentions. So with that being said, MJ, Kobe, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Hakeem Olajuwon, LeBron, Kobe, Bill Russell. Those are all of my honorable mentions. Now, if you kept up with what I've just said, you might notice that there is one person missing. It might be a few people missing depending on who you think is the greatest basketball player of all time. But I have all the stats and stuff on my phone here. It's too high numbers to remember to count. So, with that being said, my greatest basketball player of all time. He goes by the Big Dipper. He went by Dippy. He went by Dip. He went by the Load. He went by Big Musty. He went by the Record Book. He went by Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. Yes, the greatest basketball player of all time is Wilt Chamberlain, and here's why. Wilt Chamberlain has been breaking records throughout his entire career. Now, I'm just going to give you his career stats just so you can sort of get a baseline. Now, with 1,045 total games played, he's averaging 30.1 points per game, 22.9 rebounds per game, and 4.4 assists per game. Now, the points per game is a little lower because later in his career sort of died down a little bit. But let me just start off by saying he's 23 years old, his first year in the NBA, 23, center for the Philadelphia Warriors. He averaged 37.6 points and 27 total rebounds. Are you kidding me? At 23 years old, he's averaging 37 and 27? That is ridiculous. No one will ever come close to that again. We thought that James Harden might get close to averaging 35, maybe 40 points a game this year, and then he went into a huge slump, which just shows how hard it is to have to go out there and average 37 points per game. It's insane. Why is nobody talking about Wilt the Stilt as one of the greatest basketball players of all time? Now, in the 1961-62 season, he's now 25 years old. He's still playing for the Philadelphia Warriors. He averaged a total of 50.4 points per game. Are you kidding me? That is ridiculous. No one will ever touch that again. Not only did he do that, but he averaged 25.7 rebounds total for the season, which is ridiculous. 50 and 25. That is insane. No one will ever come close to that. No one will ever be as dominant as Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. That is why he is the greatest basketball player of all time. He puts up numbers. He breaks records. No one comes even close to it when they're talking about Wilt Chamberlain and with the records he breaks and the points per game and the rebounds that he had. I mean, all you have to do is just look at the numbers. It's that simple. Look at all of his averages. Look at his rebounds, his points, his minutes, his games played. It's not like he's going out there and playing 20, 30 minutes a game. He's playing in the high 40s. He's playing almost every minute of every game. And of course, you know the game that he had 100 points. The only player ever to have 100 points in a single basketball game. The only one who came close was Kobe, who had 81. I'm not sure exactly the year on that, but I know he had 81. Everyone knows that. And that just goes to show how hard it is to get 100 points. The fact of the matter is, Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest basketball player of all time. And now, I know what you're saying, Mark, those are different times. Sure, the talent might not have been as good, but yes, there were things that did work at his disadvantage. We didn't have all of the technology we have today. We didn't have all of the luxuries that we have today of staying at fancy hotels and taking private jets to wherever he was going. They had to travel by bus, where they had to travel on a very uncomfortable plane and eat average meals. They weren't living it up like kings like they do today. And the paychecks. The paychecks were not anywhere near to what they are today. And all of this stuff adding up. Think about the shoes. His shoes, something as small as his shoes. He probably had to play in Converse. Do you know how hard it is to play basketball in Converse? It's ridiculous. Go outside, put on a pair of Converse, just run up and down the street. Your feet will be hurting after 2 minutes, I promise. And this guy went out there every night and breaking records, over 25 rebounds a game. The one season, like I just said, he averaged 50 points per game, all while playing in unfair conditions. Now, if you put him in the current NBA situation right now, put him in today's league, those numbers could be more. Give him the shoes, give him all of the technology, the advancements that we have, the suction cup therapy, the hydrocombry, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Give him all of that stuff and let's see what this guy could really do. Now, with all of that being said, it just comes down to the numbers for why Wilt Chamberlain is the greatest basketball player of all time. It's not MJ, it's not LeBron, it's not Kobe, it's not whoever, it's not Bill Russell. It is Wilt the Still Chamberlain. Numbers don't lie. Just if you don't think that he is, just go online, look up his stats through his entire career, and I promise you nobody is coming close to what Wilt the Still Chamberlain has done, and that is why he is the greatest basketball player of all time.